there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
This is Casey, vocalist and guitarist for Hinayana, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Mr. Casey Hurd, vocalist of Hinayana, Austin, Texas-based melodic death doom metal unit. Hinayana will release their Death of the Cosmic EP August 28th via Napalm Records. Death of the Cosmic EP is the follow-up to 2018's debut full album, Order Divine. So we got Casey on here to talk about Hinayana and all this good stuff, and especially Death of the Cosmic EP. And Casey, how's it going, man? And welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, it's going good.
Not a problem whatsoever. So let's dive into this bad boy. How have you been doing? And what have you been up to during this crazy pandemic other than getting ready for Death of the Cosmic, man?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, we've been doing good, and we have been, honestly, it's been interesting finding new ways to distract ourselves, from the fact we can't play shows. It's like, what do we have to prepare for? Okay, so we've been preparing for this release, for a while now. And so it's been exciting, at least during this time period, to be able to have this release going, and it's exciting seeing the feedback and stuff like that kind of trickle through. We've been songwriting, man. We've been writing on new material, working on new stuff. There's always stuff to work on. And that's really how we've been keeping busy,
What about any hobbies, man? Have you took up any new hobbies? Have you started, caught up on some things that was lately behind on, maybe, possibly during all this crazy time?
Yeah, a little bit. I would actually say that, something that I kind of am trying to get back into is I used to do a lot of art, when I was younger, and actually I have a full kit to do that stuff. So I'm gonna start drawing again soon, and really, it's actually just now I'm thinking, okay, well, I actually really like photography as well. So I'm gonna start doing some of that again as well. And that's another one of my hobbies.
How's it been working with Napalm Records for you guys so far?
It has actually been really good. Yeah, it's been very good. Everyone's super cool, super polite and nice, and easy to work with. And so we couldn't be happier with how that's turning out so far.
What's impressed or excited you the most about making the new EP entitled Death of the Cosmic, if anything, man? I mean, you go from a full-length album to now this EP. Why go the EP route instead of like the full-length?
Yeah, so the EP, it's funny. The EP actually, we never really thought it was going to be much more than kind of a stepping stone between our previous full-length album and another album. I kind of take a look at some of the other bands that are very successful, and sometimes they'll release an EP in between, just kind of to fill the void. It's funny because we sat on this for so long, it ended up being spaced out like a full album release, but really, it's exciting to me because with this, we really tried to evolve kind of, our sound and kind of further carve it out, into something more unique compared to what we had going on the last album. Something further, something that sounds more like when you hear it, I just want someone to think, this is this band, this is Hinayana, this Hinayana sound, we're aiming for that. And one of the most exciting things was just being able to kind of experiment. And we have 2 collaborations, one with a vocalist from the band Hanging Garden from Finland, I believe. And also it was amazing to work with Nature Ganganbaigal from Tenure Cavalry before he passed away, which is very sad. But we were able to get some of his last recorded performances on this EP. So that was very exciting and to be able to do.
Were there any songs that didn't make your guys' debut album that landed on this EP possibly, or no? Or are these all fresh tracks?
Yeah, so these are actually all fresh tracks. Funny you say that. I tried there were some songs that didn't make it onto Order Divine, the previous full length, that I had tried kind of manipulating and working with. But honestly, these were just, they were so fresh and new, and it felt the best to do it this way, with the exception for the last track called Pitch Black Noise, which is that's actually the second song I ever wrote for the band. And it's the second track on the first demo that I ever made, which that was when I didn't even have a full band. It was just me working on the computer, Wow. And the reason we included it was because it fits so well with the other songs, and it ended up being one of the songs we played at every one of our shows. Like, it just was so much fun to play live. We were like, okay, we got to do this song justice, with real good production and improved vocal performance and guitar, playing and everything. We just got to, do this song justice, play it like we play it live, the drum parts with the real awesome, drums, everything got mixed up and spiced up a little bit on that one. I feel like it did it justice, including it on this one.
So damn, you've been sitting on Pitch Black Noise. That means, God, how long? What, 2018, 14, something like that?
That song was written in 2014, yeah, and it's just on the demo, yeah, and it was just on the demo that is still out there, but like it just the production, I wanted to really do it justice on this EP, so it was kind of where we're like, yeah, this will be fun,
So this may be an EP, but folks, this is 5 tracks that speaks volumes for this band of what they've been through, and just having stuff to put out there now this is beyond awesome, as best I could put it, because you've got old stuff, man. It's just seeing a lot of day, record wise.
Yeah.
And then you've got the gentleman who passed away, unfortunately. You've got his last vocals stuff on there. So I mean, this EP it
was his last horsehead fiddle performance on there.
It's kind of like a meant to be thing if you think about it.
Yeah. It kind of felt that way, honestly. Yeah, and it was pretty trippy. It was actually pretty crazy. When we started mixing, things just were like, whoa, this is taking on something else here,
Casey, are there any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the EP? I'd almost change every time you listen to it or when you talk about it. But I mean, geez, like we just said, this was a meant to be thing in a way. Yeah.
I really like, it's really hard, honestly. They're like my children, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Can't pick one, but there are parts of each of them that I really, really am like, we're going to do more of that in the future, right? Some of my favorite parts on the EP are in the first track, the title track, Death of the Cosmic, in the sense that it's a very dynamic track. It's got a lot of detail put into that one. I'm very proud of how that one turned out. Now, funny enough, that's not one of the ones that has a collaboration. Those are special in their own way, but as far as a song that's just straight, just like, with no collaboration or anything like that, I'd say Death of the Cosmic is a real important one to pay attention to. I think we're going to do more songs like that in the future.
So how special was it working with Tony from Hanging Garden, and plus you had Nature on here that did Cold Conception? How was working with these gentlemen and especially like on these tracks? Did you talk with them and tell them what you wanted on it, or did they just knock it out of the ballpark from the get-go? Yeah, so they were a little bit different. I actually really, it's crazy. Starting with Hanging Garden, man, I've been fans of them for over 10 years. I remember their very first album when that came out and listening to that and being like, fuck, I love this band, just keep listening to their albums and they keep evolving. It's been very cool. So it was amazing when I reached out to him and he was, down to do some vocals on this track. Now the track had already been basically written, and I was looking for a guest vocalist. For instance, we didn't actually know that we were going to be able to get anybody to do these vocals. So that was an instance of I wanted him to do the specific vocals on these specific parts of the song, really to fill it out and really just give it a little bit of a different vibe and some, it's just such a dark, the track that he's on in Sacred Delusion, such a dark track, even compared to some of the other tracks that we have. And I feel like his vocals just are so, they fit so well with that. It was really great working with him. I was very excited about it. I think he's very excited to hear, see this get released as well. And then working with Nature, well, I guess he
he just knocked it out of the park. I mean, I had my own idea about how kind of I wanted it to sound. And I was like, well, we could do this or that and this or that, because I'm very particular about stuff. But it's funny because when he did it, I know he had his own way he wanted to do it. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see how this turns out. I was very excited to work with him, by the way. I'd already known about Tenger Cavalry for years as well. And that's such a cool, unique band. And he's such a cool guy. We were, again, very excited to have him collaborate with us. But on the track, yeah, it turned out different than I thought it was going to, but so much better, Like, it was like, wow, okay, it's an amazing musician. He knew exactly what to do. I couldn't imagine a song without his parts now,
Was it hard for you guys to choose between the current set of songs? Which one would be the first single you wanted to release for the EP?
It's funny, we kind of I wanted to release the title track at first. We were going to do a music video for the title track. We then decided not to. We decided that wasn't going to be the one we did. We thought that Cold Conception, was going to be the first single we were going to release. And, we really actually wanted Nature to be in the video. And it's very sad. He actually passed away the week that we were going to be shooting his performance shots for the video. And so he unfortunately didn't make it in the video. And that was going to be one of the special things. And he was going to promote it on his, he had some PR stuff going on. And so this was even before any of this record deal stuff was going on. But yeah, so that kind of turned out to be the one. And it wasn't our first choice, but it ended up being the best one.
I know you used to do this on your own, but these new songs, does it challenge or still push you guys to come up with something new and stay fresh with Hinayana's music?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the challenge, man. That's going to continue to be the challenge, I think, throughout the whole entire life of the band. Honestly, it's always about, making things sound fresh, but not, avant-garde, because that's not really what we're doing. But, making stuff kind of that pushes our own boundaries a little bit, and maybe taps into these other realms that we haven't explored yet, but still retains some of the root of, the root sounds that we go for, which to me is really just, man, I like writing stuff that's catchy. I like big, choruses, doomier kind of mid-paced stuff. And that's one of the differences between the EP and the last album is I feel like these are all more mid-paced, more kind of medium tempo songs, but they have a little bit different vibe to them. They're similar to some of the tracks on that album, but they're more dynamic, and that's kind of what I want to continue to do. More dynamics in the songwriting.
Death of the Cosmic EP was primarily self-produced by you guys, with mixing, drum recording from Kevin Butler, and mastering by Swallow the Sun's Juho Rea. Hell yeah, I knocked it out of the ballpark with that pronunciation. Suck on that, everybody. Anyway, how was working with those guys on this, man?
Yeah, so Kevin Butler, that guy is fantastic to work with. And we like working with him a lot. He's a good friend, and he's super calm, and he's the kindest person to work with in the studio. He's very flexible. He listens. A lot of producers, I think, they got their own idea of how they want things to sound. Well, he listens to what we want, our vision and everything. And honestly, man, yeah, the first thing we do, basically, I make demo tracks for all this stuff. We figure out all the different parts. We then take, like drum parts is the first thing we do, and we take that into the studio, and that's going to be with Kevin Butler, and that was how we did it on the EP. And he knew exactly what we wanted, and we actually worked at this studio. It's a studio out here in where is it? I guess it's kind of not in Austin. It's on the outskirts of Austin. It's out in the country a little bit. They actually do short run vinyl printing over there, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool seeing the machines for that. But yeah, anyway, so working with him was awesome, and working with him on the mixing, we got it. I feel like we nailed it as much as we could, with the tools that we had for this thing. Obviously we're going to improve as time goes on, but we're happy with how the production came out with him. He did a great job. Working with Juho was really, that was cool, man. I'd been listening to stuff that he had worked on for, years and years and years. Sometimes I didn't even realize, oh, he touched that. He worked on that. Shit. I was like, oh man, okay. So it was really awesome being able to get get those master files sent from him, to see his name in the email. I was like, oh man, that's really cool. he was very easy to work with, very good to work with. And we'll probably work with him again in the future.
I still want to have a yeah off with James Hetfield of Metallica. I will do that one day. Yeah. Were there any songs on this EP that originally was the way you wanted to go, but it took a tremendously 360-degree change? Like, whoa, this song went totally somewhere was surprising that it went to.
Yeah. I would actually say, I would say the song "In Sacred Delusion" with Tony from Hanging Garden. That one took a long time for me to crack, actually. Sometimes I spend a long time on writing stuff. I'll take my time. I want things to be a certain way. And I just, the pacing and, okay, this isn't where it is. So we're going to put that on the shelf for a while. And that one started off completely different sounding, like the verses and choruses and everything. It definitely turned out way different. And it all came together at the very end. And so that's an example of a song that, it's really like, wow, when you're writing for future material, like this might sound different a few months down the line. You never know.
But different is good, though. It's a fresh,
oh yeah,
breath of fresh air, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Who did the artwork for this awesome EP? So
that would be Travis Smith, famously known for doing a bunch of awesome album artwork for bands like Opeth, Catatonia, two of my favorites, he's an amazing artist, and he totally knocked it out of the park with this album cover, in my opinion.
So since we're talking about bands evolving, do you see this band still musically growing from where it started, especially from the 2018 debut full-length Order Divine? Do you see it going outside its boundaries, I should say, from where it started, where you started from, till the release of the debut, till now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think there were a lot of things that like I didn't know how to execute. And there were a lot of things that, I hadn't tried yet. And I just had, as ideas, but, never really sat down and tried to make it work. But we were able to make work on the EP, and we're definitely still growing. We're still carving out our own sound and, really still evolving, I would say. And if you listen to the EP, the first demo that we had made, and compare it to the Death of the Cosmic EP, you can kind of hear that.
For the folks that are out there that are very familiar with Hinayana's music, is there something down the road possibly that you could talk about that you want to add into your guys' music? Maybe, possibly. Yeah, so I would say, we're working on obviously this next, album. We're working on a full length, and we've been working on it. I've been kind of sitting back and writing songs for this for some time, but really now we're fully, into it. Now we're fully, knee deep into songwriting, and some things that I would say you can maybe expect more of is definitely going to be some more collaborations. You're going to see some more guests. And that's going to be really, it's going to be really, really fun. And it's going to be really interesting. I think we're going to have some cool results with that stuff. So we're looking forward to doing more of that, because we couldn't be happier with how it turned out this time. And there's some of the little stuff that's different from, little differences from Order Divine versus the Death of the Cosmic EP. There's going to be more of that. Any of the differences you might hear, there's going to be more of it. Uh-oh, folks, a little teaser. Christmas in July on BODS Mayhem Hour. There you go, from Hinayana. What do you hope, Casey, everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Hinayana's music in general? What do you hope they get, my friend?
Yeah, stay positive, let this music kind of be your outlet right now, Hopefully this music can touch all you guys the way that some of your other favorite bands do. And we really hope that y'all like it.
In your own opinion, what can fans expect at a show from Hinayana once everything gets back to normal and we can do some things? Hint, folks, get your asses together and let's do this shit. What can they get, man, when they come to see you all live?
Yeah, a lot of energy. We're going to be, it's going to be pent up. I tell you, we're going to have more stage production than we've had in the past. We're just getting started. So, all that stuff I can't wait because there's going to be a lot of energy at those shows. It's going to be heavy.
So what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you, if you can recall, that said, yeah, man, I want to try this. I at least want to give it a shot.
That was when I was growing up. It's funny. I got started on bands like Aerosmith and AC/DC. And I remember listening to some of that stuff. And, I started out, my very first musical instrument was actually drum set. I never really followed through because I kind of thought, I really like melody, and from then on, and things just kind of, just built on that. I was inspired by some of those bands, some of the classic rock, just the energy. I remember watching the music videos for like AC/DC and Aerosmith and just being like, this is fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be part of this, And then the biggest thing that got me, I knew I wanted to be a metal musician was I remember going to Ozfest, and that was the first real. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
I couldn't agree more. My first ever show to watch metal wise, rock wise, was Foo Fighters and the Red Hot Chili Peppers on the Californication tour.
Hell yeah!
And after that was Ozfest, man. And once I saw that, I was done. I was
sold.
Yeah.
More of this. Yeah.
Well, I was already a big metal fan to begin with. I'm a diehard Metallica fan through and through.
Absolutely. That was one of the first for me.
But just that experience, that rush, and
it was the energy for me. It was the energy, just the raw energy. I remember.
Yeah, and me just standing out in the crowd and seeing these bands at Ozfest that I grew up listening to, the everything going through my mind a million miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
oh, absolutely,
it's like,
totally.
Oh, just calm down, just chill out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I got to see Pantera, Static X. Jeez,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Do you think this pandemic, man, is going to affect the concerts and festivals? Once everything gets back together, do you think this has hurt it in the long run, or do you think this is going to make it thrive even more after everybody gets back out?
That's a tough call. I'm not 100%. That's an interesting question. I would say though that I think that live music has been a part of our culture, as people for indescribably long. It's been since the dawn of, we were able to hit things, together. We've been, making music and stuff. I think that in the long run it will survive and that it'll be okay. I think it's more of a short-term thing. I think it's gonna hurt a little bit, and there's gonna be some there's gonna be some pain kind of getting it back to where it used to be,
What about the streaming side of it? Have you guys took advantage of that possibly?
Yeah, so we're talking about that now. We haven't yet. We're looking into it, man.
Do it.
I think that'd be something cool to do, honestly.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Do it, man. Do it.
Hell yeah.
Do it. I'll come on there and sing with you guys. I don't care.
Fuck yeah.
I don't care if it's Mary Had a Little Lamb or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'll get down with it. I don't care.
We'll do it all metal.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do my James Hetfield yells through there too.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Hinayana gets support from, or Hinayana's music gets played in possibly?
I think it's interesting. We've seen some stuff from all over the world, little bits and pieces. It's always interesting seeing that. It's funny for streaming for us. The two top cities are Austin and then Helsinki, Finland.
Oh, wow.
It's just weird. It's like, oh, wow, this really tells a lot. It's like we got our fans over here. Then we got these people who are used to this kind of stuff, but it's just so crazy because, it's like, oh, it went right there, That's nuts. I didn't think it was going to be quite so ooh,
Yeah.
That's, honey, what do you know?
That's awesome, though, that you can see that and you're reaching out to people in different cultures, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the funnest parts.
I know when you were growing up, you had a lot of music, a lot of albums, but did you have a go-to album or just a song when you were younger that just let you escape or made you think that things are going to be better or just put you in a great-ass mood, man?
Well, that's hard to say, but I mean, if I can think about it now, I mean, you know, one of the first, I think that all of metal, you know, did that for me back in the day. You know, it was like this energetic thing that I could, you know, escape into. And once I started discovering it, it was all kind of like that. I remember the first real metal song that I got into that was like even just like, you know, going back to classics like Metallica, Enter Sandman, you know, it was just fucking cool to me. And I you know, like all those sounds, all that stuff just totally spoke to me. And, you know, that might be one, I would say.
I couldn't believe like the other day was Kill 'Em All's 37th or 38th birthday release.
No, I was talking with someone about that. It's crazy to think about that.
Master of Puppets is my all-time favorite Metallica album. Yeah, so good.
Oh yeah.
So good. But I mean, I like them all after that. Even Saint Anger. Everybody gives Saint Anger shit, but I mean, it grew on me.
There's some cool parts on there, man.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
That's divisive, but there's some cool parts.
Mm-hmm.
Undeniably, absolutely.
Folks, please get out and pick up Hinayana's Death of the Cosmic EP, August 28th via Napalm Records. Please get out and check that out and pick it up and support Hinayana. You don't know what you're missing. Trust me. I'm not saying that because Casey's on here. They do have some phenomenal music, that's for sure. So, Casey, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates when this all gets back to sane, as I call it? How can folks do that?
Yeah, go hit us up on our Facebook, man. That's the best place to reach us and reach out to us. You know, that'd be Facebook. And just give us a quick message if you want to say hi. You know, we're very friendly. We don't bite.
So far. Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Yes. All right. So this is Casey, vocalist and guitarist for Hinayana, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and all the links that we are associated with. And trust me, we're just about on every platform out there. Not all, but we will be soon. Also, please get out and check out Hinayana's music. Pick up their Death of the Cosmic EP that comes out August 28th via Napalm Records. Folks, I'm telling you right now, if you want some fresh music, check these guys out. It's a good breath of fresh air that you can add to your metal repertoire, as I should say, and give them a chance. So, Casey, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, man.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for having me on.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.